What's going on, everyone? Today we're here with a great brother by the name of Stephen Brown from the SB Media Group. Now, this brother is very accomplished. I was reading through his bio. He's even going to be a judge at the international CES competition. And anybody know about CES, who is techies or in electronics, that is the big show to find out everything new that's coming.
Absolutely.
So this brother has been tapped to be a judge there, and we'll get into that with him. But brother Stephen, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you so much, Phil, for having me.
Now, Stephen, I'd like to know, how did you get involved with tech? Because a lot of brothers, trying to get into tech and also Silicon Valley is very hard. So how did you do that? You know what?
That's a great question. I started out in technology. I started learning computers when I was about 15 years old. I always had an interest in apps and games and things of that nature. So I actually learning C++. That's a really strong foundational type of coding language that everybody I recommend learn, and that really is one of the languages that most computers run on. Like most of the apps that you have on your phone, and a lot of websites run on C++. And I just started learning that, learning technology. I was about 15. Always loved electronics. I used to take apart everything in the house: the TV, the radio, all the electronics, in the house. And I was just always very fascinated by technology ever since I was a kid. And then with my father, actually, my dad was an engineer, and so a lot of his passion for technology passed along to me as well. And so when I graduated high school, went to college, majored technology on the business side as well as the development side. And I went to University of Maryland, started studying computers and technology. And then it just really developed from there. And then when I got out of college, I started working in the job market. Started working at the reprogramming computers for Y2K after I graduated school, and then started getting contracts and development. And really, my passion just kind of started from there. I was an engineer at AT&T. I was an engineer at the Department of Revenue, worked with some biometric security agencies and things like that. And then I've really kind of started my own projects, and I'm sure we'll get into all of that. But it's really been a passion of mine ever since I was young. And really, also too, I'm a music producer and a video director, and all of that technology is very deeply rooted in the creative side as well. So you can't really do much, let's say, with music production or video production if you don't have a strong technology foundation. So all of those factors kind of played a part in my development. So it's been awesome. I wouldn't really be in another field right now. I did have some other interests, but I just love technology, just live for it.
Yeah, it sounds. The thing is, when you are working in things that you're gifted in, number one, and you're passionate about, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's right. You never work a day in your life if you do something you love. That's so true.
Exactly. And when you just, like, for instance, like what I do here, it doesn't feel like work. I enjoy it. I enjoy talking with people, getting messages out to the community.
Right.
And it's just something that's just great to do. And if you possibly can, live off of it or earn some sort of living off of it,
yeah,
that's just icing on the cake with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, so many people hate their jobs. I mean, because you was talking about how you was working in the corporate field. Yeah. And, some people got good paying jobs, but they hate it. They like, oh, my God, I got to go to this job.
I know.
I mean, literally, you know how they are. I mean, they literally feel like they're enslaved to it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I had a lot of people I was working with, they were making a lot of money, but they you could just tell that they were they felt miserable, really. And and corporate work is very demanding. I mean, me personally, one of the reasons why I kind of branched out to do my own thing was was because the job I was working in, we were working 6 days a week. It kind of started taking over my whole existence. Everything was just about work, and then, of course you drive 2 hours to work, or, you're in the car almost 2 hours a day just to get to work. You don't, you work all day, you're working 6 days a week. You don't really have much time. And, every day you just go to work, come home, go to work and come home. You really don't have much. Everything just becomes about work, and it burns a lot of people out. And, that's why I had to kind of branch out and kind of, set my own path here. And a lot of people are really kind of getting into that now. They're seeing it's almost like one of my friends described it as kind of like being on the hamster wheel. You're just there, you're just running and running and running. And a lot of people are seeing now, we're really in a time of entrepreneurship. And I'm sure you know that. I'm sure you talk with a lot of people, and everybody's kind of, a little bit more entrepreneurship focused now. Right.
And that's just, talk about just a reality for us as black men.
Yeah.
Even in the corporate world, I'm gonna say this much. Yeah. Heterosexual black men are a threat to them in the corporate world. That's probably what it is. They don't want us around. That's
very true, man. You hit right on the mark. It's very interesting. I know, it's a lot of women right now are they would rather have a female in there, because to most let's say other races, they are less of a threat than a strong, educated black man. And it's it's hard for other cultures to kind of accept black men, because like you said, we are a threat, and they welcome women with open arms, and that's fine. But men are definitely a threat in corporate America.
Yeah, and the reason why I stated heterosexual is because from what I've seen, like they are cool with the gay brother, and I have nothing against nobody. If you're black, I love you as long as you're not out there cooning. Right. We got some things we may disagree with, but we'll get to that another time. We had a time to, but in this system of white supremacy that we live in, they're comfortable with either, like you said, a black woman, because she's not a threat to them,
right?
And they view maybe the gay brother as someone's not a threat, but someone, like you say, is strong, prideful, respectful, and got his eye on some sort of mark. They're always threatened by that brother. And they give us hell.
Yeah, because I've had issues. I'm a very, very easygoing guy. But I've had issues with other cultures, and other races that just simply don't like me, just simply because I'm a strong black straight male, and for a lot of time, like I said, a lot of time it just causes issues. It's just you could just feel the tension, what I mean? And it really just kind of it can create a hostile kind of working environment if you don't want to ruffle feathers, you want to just do your job and just stay focused and just kind of just come in, just do your work and go home. But it can be tense sometimes, what I mean, when you have other cultures and and that you're doing your work, and they just seem to have issues with you. So I've encountered a lot of that too. I'm sure you have as well.
Oh yeah, that's why I wanted to definitely bring that up. It don't matter how nice you are, it don't matter how well spoken you are. If you represent an alpha male, especially a black male, you're going to be a problem. So that's why I tell people, our freedom as black people is entrepreneurship, doing for self, creating our own jobs.
Absolutely. Job security wise, you see how people just walking in and now they're not even giving any notice to people. They're just like, we're phasing out this whole division. And, some people walking in and getting a pink slip that day, and, and they're taking people's 401ks. And the point I'm making is, unless you create your own, you are susceptible to anything that they want to do when it comes to your livelihood. Mm-hmm. And I had to learn myself that, in order for real job security or real financial security, like you said, we have to create our own.
Right. And that's something I promote. I want every black person that definitely follows us, or anybody that follows us, to be honest with you, because you live in the same country, do for yourself. Absolutely. Do for yourself, because it is you can't depend on this administration. Now, one thing, the Democratic Party is complaining, and no, before I say this, I'm not a conservative. Only party I'm for is for the black community.
Right.
Now, but I will pick apart something if it's good for us.
Right.
Now,
Absolutely.
The Democratic Party is complaining about Trump's tax bill. Now, you and I both know if Trump and them get that 35% down to 20%, you know how much that would help black-owned businesses? You know what?
That in some ways, that is one of the only things I can agree with Trump and them on is
exactly.
You know what I mean? The tax rate in America is just, it is crazy. I mean, we're at one of the highest tax rates anywhere in the world, and it is really counterproductive for businesses, and including black businesses too, to have almost a 40% tax rate. You know, all the other industrialized or first world, as they call it, countries, their tax rates are way lower than ours, and that's why it's so strange that the wealthiest country in the world has been so counterproductive to businesses for so long. So that is the only thing I can see somewhat eye to eye on with this administration, because that does have to change. But now I'll say this: I don't believe that they need to mess around with people's health care at all, because you notice how the Republicans are kind of trying to sneak that in there. So we were talking about it the other day, how on page 93 they're actually of this 400-page document, they're kind of sneaking the health care kind of like under the radar, so it's just I don't agree with that at all.
Well, my thing is, and I tell people this: if you're going to do for self, that means doing for self with health care. Right, you need to have your own personal plans, and there are many people that sell insurance out there. Yeah, and we get to that point, because anything government can be changed, like this, the next administration. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. So, like I said, in order for us to do for self, I think we just have to separate completely, from the government. Right. Let's talk about your different websites, like digitalafro.com. Right. You have that website now. You get. That website is involved with the new black media. Explain, what Digital Afro does for the black community with news and information.
Absolutely. What Digital Afro is part of the SB Media Group, which is 7 other websites, all that I've created, 7 projects that all essentially work together, as you mentioned, to be the new media conglomerate that for this time period right now. Digital Afro is the black lifestyle in the digital age, and we cover technology, we cover politics, art, culture, entertainment, everything that's happening right now in this time that relates to minorities and African Americans. We cover that content, and we cover news and information, and give you positive stories about everything that's happening right now in this time, in this digital age. Because like we talked about earlier, a lot of things have changed. The news outlets have changed, and we want to give people news that's relevant to this time happening right now in this period where we call the digital age. So we're not talking about some of these kind of dated topics and things like that. It's just a whole new series of things now to discuss about African Americans and happening in this time. Happening in social media, happening in arts and technology and culture, and how everything is just really kind of shifted, and we really need to stay on top of things that are relevant to this time right now. And so Digital Afro is my platform to cover African American content. I also have DigiLife, which is DigiLife magazine, which is news, entertainment, and lifestyle for the digital age. So DigiLife is my science and technology platform, where we talk about everything that happens in science and technology, trending topics, news, tech gadgets, product reviews, analysis, a lot of things that I'm doing at CES, new products, and essentially I love technology, and really DigiLife is our technology arm, is our technology platform, and DigiLife and Digital Afro cross promote and work together And so essentially, when you go to Digital Afro, if you click on the technology section, it takes you to DigiLife. And as I mentioned, it covers everything happening in science and technology, new innovation. I also have another project called STEM Stars, which is our online STEM education platform. And what that is, essentially, that is the platform where K through 12 students can log in from anywhere. We teach them science and technology, and we teach them how to code, and we teach them how to be essentially real entrepreneurs. So we give them all the digital tools. We teach them how to build apps, build websites, and we teach them how to be the next generation of entrepreneurs. And we want to inspire, youth of today to be, to be real, to be the next Steve Jobs, to be the next Bill Gates or next Jeff Bezos. And since we want to give them all of the real world tools, so that, when let's say we take a student that's 15 or 16 right now, by the time he or she completes STEM Stars program, they will have worked with all of the tools that I've worked with as a web developer and an app developer. They have all of those tools. So by the time they're 21, 22, they are already like fully immersed in technology to a point that they are full, almost IT professionals within a couple years. So like I said, we want to give them all of those tools and start them young so that they, can create their own websites and apps and be technology entrepreneurs. And I have another platform called Nubby, and that is a social media management tool. But essentially, like I said, the SB Media Group is 6 companies working together. I have a 7th project I'm working on, but all of our projects are working together in a similar fashion. I guess you could say how Turner Broadcasting, they have the Cartoon Network, they have CNN, they have all of these different assets underneath the Turner Broadcasting umbrella, and that's my focus right now, because that, in my opinion, is what new media, the new black media or new media is about. It's creating a whole conglomerate, whole media, empire, whatever you want to call it, to give people various options as far as the entertainment that they consume.
Right, and the one thing that people expect, and which I love the people, they expect the realness.
Yeah.
They expect no one to cut corners with them or sugarcoat a thing.
Right.
And
right.
That's what the old media can't compete with.
Absolutely.
Because they have handlers and they have to push different propaganda out there.
Right.
But in this new black media, we have to just, speak the truth.
Absolutely.
And let the people sort that truth out. Now, you mentioned about the kids, in which, for here, I'm always going to push education.
Absolutely.
For our children and even for, adults, because
Absolutely.
Without education, you can't get anywhere.
Can't get
Now, if you can if children can learn how to operate Facebook, or they can know how to use YouTube apps or iPads. Like I said, I have a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And she can use the iPad better than me at times.
That's fantastic.
She can.
Yeah.
I mean, she knows how to open the apps, close them up, do all kind of things with them, rewind of the videos, and she's 3.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And I'm like, so she's smart, and our kids are smart kids.
Absolutely.
Instead of having videos where you seeing kids dancing all day long,
right,
or rapping. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's put them in front of, like you said, some coding, or teach them about building apps, building websites, something that they could make a lot of money off of.
Absolutely. That's one thing I really am a bit frustrated at how a lot of these rappers are not taking responsibility. Like they're not teaching our youth things that are going to progress them, or that are going to prepare them for the 21st century. You know what I mean? These we have geniuses right now in the hood that don't have opportunities, and all they're being fed is poison by rappers who are really misleading them and giving them a negative path to go down. And these kids are influential. Excuse me, they're easily influenced. And people with an audience, they have to take more responsibility on the types of things that we're feeding our community. I mean, like I said, I come from a music and entertainment background, but I never, I always took responsibility for the things I said, the way I conducted myself, and really I always took it upon myself to realize that I have a responsibility to my culture. You know what I mean? To not, because anybody with a mic in their hand, or anybody, that's on a record, or on TV or on a film or anything of that nature, right then and there, you become a representative of the culture, and whether people like it or not, I mean, you are a representative of the culture, and everything you say and everything you do is being examined, or people are listening to that, and whatever you're saying to people, whatever path you're sending them down, you're responsible for that, whether you like it or not. And so, like I said, my focus has always just been, like you said, to educate the youth, and give them opportunities and prepare them, because I know what it's like out here. You know what I mean? I know what it's like. You know what I mean? When you're sitting across from someone who's another culture, and they're simply doubting you just because of your skin color. You know what I mean? And I'm sure we're gonna have more conversations about this. But like I said, I've been through the ringer trying to get venture capital and investors, and for a long time, things have gotten a little bit better. But as far as African Americans and minorities and people, women and everybody, if you're not a certain culture, you're not going to get funded, just simply because of your of your skin color. And I just can't be responsible to continue to create or continue to propagate stereotypes, like you said, of like all this ratchetness. You know what I mean? Digital Afro has an opportunity. We could be ratchet 24/7, but I choose not to do that. So it's a lot, my brother.
Trust me, when it comes to funding, and things like that, I can agree with you wholesale.
Yeah,
because that's just be honest here about our platform. We're about the largest black news platform on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you would think that someone would come and say, hey, we like to partner with you, or XYZ, so you can just get bigger faster. Yeah. Since we like the direction you're going, but at the end of the day, I'm not looking for people outside my community to do that. I'd rather someone within our community that really have the black community in mind and want to see it do better and have their own come in and do that. But that just don't happen. And we got brothers and sisters that got a lot of bread in our community. Don't think we not broke like that.
Yeah.
But we get so, when we get money, we get so individualistic, like, oh shoot, I don't know about all that. Like, well, how would you grow your legacy if you don't invest into other people?
That is. But
what we'll rather invest into a Caucasian person, Oprah. Right. We'll rather invest into a bunch of them, but you don't want to invest into your own brothers, and your own sisters.
That's so interesting you say that. Look, just a quick point, my brother. Think about all the rappers, that could have bought all those buildings in Harlem right now. Before all the gentrification happened, they were giving away those buildings in Harlem. The money that some of these rappers have made. I was watching, I don't want to say any guy's names, but I was watching a rapper the other day. They were interviewing him on the radio, and he was really kind of remorseful that, he was talking about the building that he grew up in is gentrified. And I'm like, dude, you could have bought that. You and your friends could have bought 10 of those buildings. 10 years ago when your money was flowing. But like I said, there's no reason right now with the money in our community for gentrification to be basically moving us out right now. Like Harlem should be, all of these rap guys that, were making millions of dollars when the game was good. They could have bought all of Harlem basically with $1 million. You could have bought almost 10 buildings in Harlem. But now, it's gentrified. So now you can't even afford, $1 million won't even get you a down payment on some of these buildings right now in Harlem, in some of these other areas. I'm from Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. All of that area now is out of most people's price range. So basically we've let our community go. And you don't notice it until it's too late. And so, like you said, we're sitting up here talking about what happened. We're looking around. but it's like, we didn't harness our own economic power, and we're still doing it. And look how much money is being spent, without getting too super deep about, but look how much money is being spent in the strip club. You know what I mean? Like, there's more money. Waste some money. I mean, it's millions of dollars on the floor at a strip club. Like, what's being spent in a strip club could have bought 10, 20 businesses, in the real world. You know what I mean? It's our mindset has got to change. Like, in this time, it's up to brothers like us to really snap people out of this stuff that we've been in. It's almost like we've been in a trance. You know what I mean? It's almost like we've been asleep, like zombies walking around here, and nobody's kind of like taking us and shaking us out of this mindset of just living in the now, because we've lost our communities now. We'll never get those communities back that have been gentrified. You know what I'm saying? So, right. You know what I mean? I'm glad you awake and aware of this kind of stuff, man, because it takes brothers like yourself and me to really, like you said, snap people out of this stuff. Because, once, like I said, these communities are gone now. Like, our communities that we lived and grew up in, we'll never get them back now. You know what I mean? So, it's just a problem, and we gotta fix it in this digital time. Like, I know you up on digital currency right now. What are your thoughts about that?
I've been looking into that, like Bitcoin, etc. Yeah. And like I say, I believe in investing as well, like, playing the stocks, here and there. I don't get into a whole lot of what I do personally, at least in my news stories, unless it just come up. Yeah. But I'm still on the fence, with at least digital currency, with Bitcoin. Maybe that's maybe the next thing. Yeah. But I'm more so into building something that I can say that's for sure, like trying to build our media empire, right? That sort of thing, right? And generate funds from that. Not say I wouldn't invest. I believe that, you mentioned people with money. Yeah. Apps is the way to go, because you create one app and it can make you a billionaire overnight. Absolutely. I don't understand why people with any kind of money don't even get involved with that. Absolutely. I mean, these apps are selling quick. Absolutely. You mentioned the strip club. The thing is about the strip club, I personally think it's stupid. Yeah. I just think it's stupid. I'll never fancy strip clubs, because this is how I always say it. Why would I go throw my hard-earned money at some woman? That's like, I might well go throw my money in the garbage. I say, all she doing is dancing. I can watch that on the internet if that's what I want to do. And I'm saying, ain't no woman gonna rub up on me and get me all to that point. I'm like, I want to do something like this, so I'm just keeping it 100. Right. If I want to have my money, and you want to pay to watch a woman, or you want to pay for a woman to do that with you, well, I guess go trick somewhere if that's what you're gonna go do. Right. But don't be throwing your money at the strip club every week. That's silly, man. And then you're broke. You ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And it's happening. It's happening every day. You know what I mean? And but the rappers are pushing that, and and it's like rappers now, and the guys with platforms, they need to be pushing. Get your business. You know what I mean? Handle, invest in stocks, and invest in real estate. And, there's, like I said, we cannot exist in this time right now doing the same things, because other cultures are flying past us at 100 miles an hour. You know what I mean? And, and the things that we choose to consume online, like some people will sit up there watching fight videos all day. You know what I mean? You could be on, your kids could be on STEM Stars learning, and you could be, learning new trades and new skills online as well. So I'm just got to get people out of this slumber. You know what I mean? Because, and it's something I don't want to talk too much, but you know what I mean? This is something my friends and I always talk about. During the first industrial revolution, back when the Rockefellers and the Gettys and the Vanderbilts, 120 years ago, when the last industrial revolution happened, we were still slaves. When the railroads were being built, and the steel industry was putting America at the forefront of the world, because we could make steel better than any other country, and countries were buying our steel. Back in the 1880s and 1890s,
we were still in Jim Crow. We were essentially still slaves. That was the first industrial revolution. So now, flash forward 120 years later, if black people are not careful, we will miss this new industrial revolution. You know what I'm saying? Because this new industrial revolution is, like you said, with the apps and technology and science and preparing our minds for where we're at right now. You know what I mean? Like to me, unfortunately, it seems like my people or our people are just kind of like, floating around in 1995. Like, man, we can't keep doing that mindset. So, like I said, I don't want to talk too much, my brother, but this is something I'm just passionate about. Just kind of like getting our people, awakening our people, because we just can't keep doing the same things.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, because some of us do play too much. We play too much, and then when it gets real, like, oh, I didn't know. Because, some of us that feel that government is going to be there to support you all its life, I don't know if you even realize the debt they're in.
Oh my goodness.
Eventually, they're going to cut a lot of that stuff. I mean, Trump's already trying to do it. Like, what if them folks say one day, hey, no more food stamps, no more welfare. You got to get it how you live.
Man.
You don't want to be in that position where you want to have a freaking riot on the street.
Oh, man.
Because now they told you're not getting the food stamps on the first anymore.
Man.
The thing is,
can you imagine that? Can you imagine just?
I can see it. I could actually see it happening, because this country is in so much debt.
Right.
It doesn't benefit them to give free anything. Unless they can get a benefit out of it. Right.
Right.
So the thing is, why would we want to put ourselves in that position?
Absolutely.
Also, we mentioned earlier about capital and funding, etc.
Yeah.
If we would use the technology that's available to us today. For instance, we don't need banks. We don't need nothing. We could crowdfund now.
Thank you.
And think about if we said, okay, let's ask X amount of people to raise X amount of dollars, because we want to take those dollars to help invest into small businesses within our community. That way they ain't got to go to no bank and talk about credit score and all these other things that they use to try to discriminate against black people.
Exactly.
Imagine, like I said, just imagine that what we could do without their approval. And it's like, what frustrates me is that we have the tools now that our brothers and sisters never had in the past.
Thank you.
They're talking about Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street, they had the tools and everything that we have at our disposal today.
Yeah.
They would have built a freaking whole city, not a neighborhood.
Yes, exactly.
And that's what they understand. Like, we have everything we need. We're talented. We don't need to ask nobody for anything. We have it right there. But it's like, a lot of us do not want to do for ourselves. That's call it what it is. A lot of us don't want to do for ourselves.
Right.
As long as we are comfortable with white mommy and white daddy, that's all we want.
That's all we want.
That's
all we look for.
We don't want to liberate ourselves. We don't want to do for ourselves. Most of us are just saying, listen, if white mommy and daddy just be a little less racist to me, then I'll be great in America.
Right.
That's
not gonna happen.
But they still want to be ruled by white mommy and white daddy. That's the majority of black people.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
true.
It's sad. It is so sad
true.
to say that, but that's the majority of black people.
That is so true, my brother. It's think how many loan applications, how many black folks have got. Just think about today. How many black people apply for small business loans that got rejected just today? I'd probably say 7 or 8 out of every 10 small business loans that black people have applied for just today got turned down. And when you start thinking about that, it's kind of like, where do we turn after that? You know what I mean? Because the banks aren't lending, and they're daggone sure not lending to black folks. So what do we do? You know what I mean? Because once that application gets rejected, you back at square one again. So it's just like nothing. You can't go anywhere. So like you said, we've got to come up with ways to like crowdfunding and all of these different options out here. We've got to find ways now to empower our community, because as you're seeing, like you said, every time I turn on the news, and I know I've had this discussion with people, it's kind of like every time you turn on the television, you don't know what those fools in the White House are going to do. It's like anything can happen. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you have to watch the news so carefully and stay on top of what's going on with this administration so carefully, because they are doing anything and everything. And it's not just the White House, it's also Congress too. Because now you've got, you've got a Congress up there that will try anything. like you said, one day people might just wake up and now there's no more, there's no more food stamps. There's no more government assistance. They're trying to cut that stuff out right now. They're trying to do it under the radar. So where do we go? If we are not empowered in this time, we are going to be, we're going to be in serious trouble if we are not coming up with ways to empower our communities, because they are not doing anything. And you see that ocean of red states that voted for Trump. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, you think they're going to come to our aid? Nope.
And I don't want them to, because we need that wake up call. Because earlier you talking about small business loans and people being rejected. If you have let's say a brother or sister, and you see their track record, they already got their business going. Yeah. You kind of investigated them a little bit. They doing very well. They just need that boost. Yeah. And this, I've said this before. If we can get, and I tell this to a lot of black people, if we can get 3,000 minimum or up to 10,000 black people that's willing and can give to projects at maybe $20 to $100 at a time, right? It's nothing that we couldn't do with a small amount of people. You don't need the millions, you just need a few, right? Exactly. So if you had 3,000 people, or even if that one brother or sister need $100,000, and then you see the plans, you see everything that's going on, it checks out. Yeah. And you say, okay, we need 1,000. If you can, 1,000 you guys to give $100. Right. Then that's the $100,000 right there. Right. Why did you even need the bank?
Why do you need? Why would you?
You don't need the bank. Exactly. When you should go to your community and ask them, and then they come through for you. But unfortunately, in the black community, we have people, they distrust black people. Right. They want to use a black person probably from last year or a year before or in the past. Well, when I gave to this black person, they didn't do right. Like, well, the Caucasian don't do right by you either. Right. And yet you still trust him and her. Right. So why can't you, forgive a black person or trust black people enough to try to say, let's fix our own community? We talk about Black Wall Street, brother. Yeah. I told this one brother, I know people who build houses. Yeah. I know people who build businesses. I know all kind of people. I say it would be nothing to actually get a plan drawn up to literally replicate that. Absolutely. And they have so much land fences, let's say here in Texas. Yeah. You could actually build that. You can have your own police department, your own fire department, your own hospital. You can have your own everything right there. Yeah. And it can be all financed by black people through a crowdfunding for their own. But to get them to discuss that, they're like, oh yeah, we want this, we want that. I say, okay, so it's time to start putting your treasure where your heart is, right? In other words, putting up the money. Yeah. Well, man, I don't know about that. Yeah, but you got $1 trillion buying power. Gucci get your money, and and everybody else get your money.
Jordan, man, it's so crazy. We don't make anything. You know what I mean? All we do is consume. All we do is buy. We don't make anything. You know what I mean? Everything that black people wear, have on, drive, live in, nothing is made by us. Nothing. You know what I mean? And all we do, like you said, we have $1 trillion buying power. And all we do is buy other people's stuff. And the only way to fix that is to get our people economically creating things. Because there's genius in every industry, but our industries are not being financed. You got the guys that make their own clothes. You got women out here that make their own everything. I mean, everything can be made by us, but we're not getting the opportunities to get our products into mainstream stores and to even where it is even purchased. So, I mean, like you said, we make everything, but we consume everything, but we don't make everything. We don't make anything. And so, that's another way how our dollar just leaves the black community. You know what I mean? And it doesn't come back to us. All it does is go out. And so, all of this has to change. And like I said, the only way that it's going to change is first by awareness of it, because you can't change anything that you're not aware of. And I don't even, like I said, I don't even think that black people even are aware of how much we actually take out of our own community and put other places. You know what I mean? And, like I said, that's the kind of information that I like putting out on Digital Afro, you know what I mean? To start kind of like, because like I said, we're an examination of everything that's happening in this time. to where, you know, other cultures are kind, I mean, other websites kind of would pass over that. You know, we would do a whole series on that, you know, economic development in the Black community, you know, where the money starts at, where it goes, tracking, you know, what it's being spent on, and then showing, you know, showing the matrix of where the dollar is, you know, how many dollars leave the community, where it goes, how it's spent, and actual, you know, charts showing where, you know, how it comes back to the community. So, I mean, those are the kind of stories that new Black media has to examine, because, you know, we can't just focus on, you know, on fashion and then, like, there's nothing, I don't have nothing against that. What I'm saying is we have to get down to the nitty gritty. We gotta, you know, talk about the tough situations and really those things that are going to snap people, like I said, out of this slumber. Because if you don't expose this stuff, you're going to keep doing it, and that's where I'm at right now.
But I will say this, so that's because, you know, I can have some positives. I'm gonna say back in March of this year, you know, YouTube was hit with this ad situation.
Yeah,
and I can say that our show wouldn't be going on right now if it wouldn't be for the people that do support us. We have like a little over 1,600 people that support us monthly on a site named Patreon.
Yeah, I know about.
And, you know, it's what these people are doing, for at least for this platform, having the show keep going. Yeah, and they're doing it, not a bank. They're doing it.
Right.
And you know, we're trying to get up to 3,000 people to support us for a small amount. We not ask for $100 a month, maybe. Yeah. You know, just for $2 or $5 a month. But what I'm saying is that is a testament that you can actually have the people support a platform. That way, whatever YouTube chooses to do, because YouTube can shut your channel down today
at any time.
I mean, they just shut down a channel. I mean, but this channel was crazy. I mean, I don't see how it got to that point.
Right.
But this channel called Toy Freaks, really weird. Yeah. But if it be promoting kids content like that. Yeah. But he had like 8 million subscribers on this one channel, and they shut that down overnight. Literally.
Yeah, they did the same thing to the Shade Room. You know what I mean? Shade Room had 3 million something subscribers on Facebook and YouTube, and the people just logged in one day and they were like, your account has been suspended. And now you just lost 3 million people off of your channel just like that. And like you said, you know, and that's another thing too, you know what I mean? If we're not if we're not creating our own, you are susceptible to anything that happens to you. They could just come in, like you said, one day and just pull the plug on your channel, and it's a wrap.
Right. And that's why I told, you know, like my wife and you know, different people around me, it's like we got to get the capital up so we can invest into more things outside of what we have going on. Yes, we have our own website, and yes, we would like to do different things with that. Yeah. But it would take me bringing people in to help monitor the website, to do different things there. I can't do it all. And like I said, if you know, if the funds come in, we could do it. And I believe I'm pretty sure you believe in the same thing. You go hire somebody, hire them for a good way to be happy to be with you, not like, oh, I'm barely getting by. You don't want that nasty attitude that you have at some corporate jobs. Right. But I see Black people, and I have a lot of hope for them, brother, because even though we see a lot of them that don't want to do right, I'm meeting more and more every day that want to support, you know, Black platforms that are actually doing it every single month. Right. I'm even seeing people who supporting Black platforms that aren't Black either, and I got to acknowledge that, because I have people that support our platform that isn't Black, and they really support because they say believe in the message. So if you got something good going on, even though we promote a lot to Black people, there's still a lot of truth in it, and no matter the race, you can appreciate truth. Yeah. And that goes to the same thing with technology. If it's just a good app, it don't matter who created it, it's just a good app. It's just it's a good website, etc. So if you are talking about Black issues, that's fine, but people just appreciate good content, a good site. So, absolutely. Stephen, I definitely want to thank you, brother, for joining us, having this great conversation today, because we need conversations like this. Absolutely. Our brothers out here who doesn't meet a so-called stereotype, and show that Black men could create their own jobs, Black men could do for themselves, and be a pillar in their own community. Thank man. I appreciate that. That is, you know, that is exactly what I'm about. You know, just empowering my culture and you know,
the man above is giving me the tools and the knowledge to understand certain things, and you know, every generation has to have an individual set of individuals that now spread that information, that information will be a method of conveyance, and you know, and be a beacon of inspiration to our culture. Every generation has that, and I you know, that's what I feel my purpose is to be a beacon of inspiration to my culture, because, you know, there's just certain, like I said, I just want to pass the things that I learned and the things that inspire me. I know that that's important right now, and I just see things that I just want to change. Like I'm very focused on not just being in the status quo, because I know that the status quo is not going to you know, it's not going to help our culture progress. And it's just not about our culture. It's kind of like, you know, it's just not just about Black people. It's about, you know, everybody. You know what I mean? I want to, you know, share knowledge and help everybody I can. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, I appreciate you having me, Phil. I mean, you know, your channel, I mean, y'all got 700,000 subscribers. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, y'all doing.
Well, we're not there yet, but we're trying to get there. But like I said, it's not about a subscription number. It's about putting out good content for people, and hopefully, you know, they come in and share it and want to even support us to keep that going. So, Stephen, we'll definitely put your Digital Afro website in the pinned comment. That way people can go see digitalafro.com. Go over there, visit it, look at it.
Absolutely.
You know, we want to be the place here that we can share things that's happening great in our community.
Absolutely.
You know, brother, if possible, can they contact you on that website as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm Steve B Tech on across social media. And if y'all could put down a Digital Afro, digitalafro.com, stemstars.org, and digilife.co, and I'll send y'all all of my you know, all of my websites. But like I said, I'm Steve B Tech across Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. So thanks so much, Phil, for having me, man. I appreciate this conversation, man, and I look forward to continuing to build with y'all and just doing, you know, some great things, and major respect to y'all.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for joining us today, and you just have a great week.
You too.
Spend time with the family, and stay safe out there.
Absolutely, and happy holidays too, and that's coming up too. So definitely,
yeah. A lot of people will celebrate, you know, Thanksgiving. Some people won't celebrate it. I tell people, just spend time with family.
Absolutely.
Just, you know, life is short, so enjoy your family as much as possible.
Absolutely.
So, brother, thank you, and have a good day.
You too now, brother. Take care now.